Welcome to Eternal Bonds. What can I get you?
I'll just take a gentleman's drink and a Fairview podcast, please.
Speaking on different topics, might be twisting us from dropping the truth first. Don't really give a fuck if you don't like it. Never flipping the script, telling it like it is. Might not see eye to eye, but the fair view we gon' give. If you don't like someone's opinion, shit, it is what it is. A podcast is a podcast, it's gon' give what it give. Money is the rush, just getting there how we live. Morals and principles is how we raising our kids. Now let's do it big, yeah, B.I.G. If you hating on us, then you can suck the T.I.P. Forever my brothers, 3 letters F.M.B. Forever my brothers, 3 letters F.M.B.
We are ready to introduce. You want to say hi? We have a guest coming on. So we have a guest coming on. You have to be quiet. Oh yeah, we're about ready to go. Let me get to it right now. Get to my notes. Get to my study.
What's up, Fairview?
Yo.
Season episode 2. Trying to make it do what it do, man.
S2E2.
You got a real heavy hitter right here, man.
S2E2 sound like a cheat code, nigga. S2E2, nigga.
So you heard him, man. Welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of the Fairview. I want to take the time to introduce our special guest.
Yeah.
CEO of CALI Strong.
Yeah.
The brand owner of many brands like Nike, Oakley, and I'm missing a lot more. But I just wanted to get to those two. You know what I mean? Converse, and like I said, CEO of CALI Strong. Want to give him his flowers real quick. Met him in one day. Next day, he invited me to the place. Gave me a couple of things. A Mamba hoodie and a white CALI Strong hoodie and a white CALI Strong shirt. I told him how much I love the socks, so he introduced me around, walked me around the whole campus, ended up being an extra in the movie. So without further ado, let me introduce y'all, JIM STROESSER.
I appreciate you guys, man.
Hey, how you doing, man?
We're doing fantastic. You know, Juju is a movie star, so I'm privileged to be on here with Juju.
Man, I appreciate you, boss man. I appreciate you. How you been?
I've been fantastic. So you guys are in Kansas City, right?
Absolutely.
Yes,
and then, my boss man in the middle, that's Dame. He is in Texas.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
very cool. Very cool. I've lived in both. I actually went to junior high in Kansas City. I lived in Independence, just outside of Kansas City. And then I lived in Dallas. Do you live in Dallas?
Yes, sir.
Why is it doing that?
Yeah, I've lived all over the country, but I love San Diego. But I've lived almost, just about every state. It's crazy, but I love being out in San Diego. So, of course, when we started the sports brand, we had to be out here in San Diego.
Absolutely. I love
I
it.
feel you on that. That's where a lot of the athletes and talent is. So, hey, you got to go where they at.
Hey, the first night I met Juju, I think he put up like 33 or something. He dominated the game he was in. I'm like, dang, you got to come down and see us.
Hey,
He's a phenomenal ball player.
I try to tell him, Jim. I try to tell him what it's about, man.
Hey,
And that was the
growing
day
up seeing this.
Yeah, that was the day of my brother's funeral too, so I had to get to it.
Wow.
But Jim, I kind of want to just take the time to introduce you to the man up right. These are both my co-hosts, you know what I mean? So that's my brother Rashad up there, and below him is my brother Damien, and that is his newborn Miss Braven. We call her the Era.
Very cool.
And y'all, I want to meet y'all to stream. Oh, and my baby girl's right here. She gonna be joining us.
I love it. She says, put me in front of that camera.
Yeah. But yeah, y'all, I want to introduce y'all to Jim. Y'all know I already talked about him plenty of times. So blessed to have you here, man. I definitely appreciate you taking the time for us, man. And this is a great opportunity for us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll let you guide the questions, and we'll rock and roll anywhere you want to go.
So absolutely. I kind of wanted to. So I kind of just reading up about you last week, just a little bit more, and I seen that around like you were doing around 21 years, and you just got into like a lot of brands of like the stuff I was naming earlier, and I just kind of want to know how you got your team became how'd you guys sell Converse to Nike in a way? Like, how'd you become a part of that whole system?
I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. And, you know, I played high school ball. I didn't play like you. I didn't go to that level. I just played in high school, but we used to wear Converse. I'm like, to think that I would ever own Converse was not in my cards. It was not in my vision. It was pretty incredible. So I remember I used to wear the Converse red 1 stars my sophomore year in college, in high school. And then after that, we started wearing Adidas and what have you. But anyway, when I got out of school, I just wanted to be a teacher coach. And that was my thing. I coached everything from track, football, basketball, you know, a lot of different sports. And then I went to graduate school because I was going to be a teacher coach and help out with a lot of fitness projects. And after that, I was like, I decided I didn't want to be a teacher coach and I wanted to get more into the business side. And I thought if I got into the business of sports, it would never feel like a day of work. And that's really been the case. You know, obviously there's days that it does feel like work, but when I stand back from it, I just love the sports business. And that's really why I got into it. And I was very fortunate to start entry level. You know, when you come out of school, didn't matter. I had a master's degree, you start at the bottom, and I started at New Balance, and then I worked myself up to other companies. I went to a small company called CAPA, and went to LA Gear. LA Gear is the same people that own Skechers today. So they were a real rocket ship. It was a great company for me. After LA Gear, I went to Nike, ran their second biggest category up there. And then I got recruited to go to Oakley down here in Southern California. And Oakley was flat at the time. They were about 200 million, but they were a great brand and they wanted to really grow. They were adding footwear, they were adding watches, they were adding eyewear, you know, for prescription eyewear and apparel. And so I got involved with that, and we went from 200 to 450 in 2 years, and the stock went from 5 to 25. So it really kind of solidified my role as a turnaround guy. And after that, I mean, I was comfortable. I was living about, you know, 10 minutes away from Oakley. I had a great job there, making great money, but I had an opportunity to join some guys that were going to buy Converse. And so we had talked about a number of brands to possibly buy. And I said, Converse is the one you need to get because you can turn that brand around. It obviously was damaged at the time, but the brand was still good. And so they called up and said, hey, you know, we're one of the last people in the running for Converse. There's 35 people tried to buy it. Nike, you know, I think Skechers tried to buy it, Walmart, all kinds of companies were trying to buy it. But my group got involved and we were the highest bidder. And so we bought it for 117 million, but the real price was 98 million based on inventory. So we bought it for 98 million. The sales were about the same. We drove it to 300 million in sales and we sold it for 305 million to Nike about 29 months later. So it was called Merger and Acquisition of the Century. And it was an amazing run. I mean, we had to change a lot of things. Juju, it's a basketball brand. You know, they weren't in the basketball game. So we had to really redo, you know, everything about their basketball business, but also redo the classics, which was the Chuck Taylor and all the classics that people know about. And so, you know, we took over Converse, and it was only 29 months. It probably felt like 6 years. We did a lot in a very short amount of time, and we made a ton of changes. You know, we had to redo the people side, the product side, the logos, the infrastructure, you know, whether it be the warehouse, the computer system, everything had to be changed and upgraded. And so we did a really good job. We didn't do everything perfect, but it looks like we did from the outside. And but the team did a phenomenal job. And you know, Nike came in. We were going to go public, but Nike came in and purchased us right before we went public. So it was a great win for everybody. Everybody wanted to move on, and I had already worked at Nike, so I left about 3 months later. So I gave my notice and kind of did my time until we could transition out. And then once I started out of there, I went to I had to leave the industry for a while because I had a non-compete with Nike. So I started doing this Ralph Lauren project. And then after that, I got back in the sports business, being the global footwear manager for Quicksilver and Roxy out here in Southern California. And then after that, my commerce partners took over an old school brand called Pony. And Pony's been around for a long time, but that brand was in a world of hurt. And so I got involved as a CEO. And so in 21 years, I went from entry level to CEO. And that was a big challenge. It was a small company at the time, or small in sales, and we had to change everything again. And then after that, I did a few other CEO spots, and then I decided, you know what, I think it's time to start my own brand or go buy a brand. And so my partner Jennifer Echeverry and I we looked around at some brands to possibly buy, but we ended up starting Cali Strong from scratch about 12 years ago, and that's where we met with you. I think we were introduced through Olden Polonies. He was your coach,
Yep.
and he's just
Yep.
a tremendous guy. We support his youth camps and just love the guy. We see him a lot at the golf events, and we just support him. And so when we met, we hit it off with you. You were obviously a great player, but more importantly, a great guy. So we wanted to hook you up with some gear. And so when you said be on the show, I said, of course I would do that. So that kind of gives you a quick, overview. But, Cali Strong has been around 12 years. We're woman owned, so we're 51-49. And Bill Walton is was one of our business partners. Andre Reed, Hall of Fame football, is one of our partners. And Cheryl Miller, Hall of Famer. I think I call her the GOAT, the best women's player of all time, is one of our partners. And then we have Ryan Ochoa, Disney actors, a partner. So we have a lot of celebrity folks involved with our brand, and we have a lot of friends that are just like we call ambassadors or friends of our company. And Olden being one of those, he's one of our favorite guys. So anyway, that kind of is what we do. But we make some great products from footwear to apparel to accessories to equipment, and we try to stand for a positive message, and we always give back. We are a brand that gives back, and we've done that to compete against the big boys in a different way. And we've given back to over 100 nonprofit charities, and so much that we started our own nonprofit, Juju, about 6 months ago. We started Cali Strong Foundation. So all of our kind of give back, and we try to do it through the foundation.
Absolutely. You just mentioned Bill Walton, man, and I seen that you dedicated your book to him about 5 months ago.
Yeah, I did.
What's wrong, baby?
He's Bill was a
Hold
really good
on,
friend of mine.
Jim. I apologize, man.
No worries.
What's wrong, baby? What's wrong? Hold on.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Bill Walton of all people.
Yeah, he's a great
That's
guy.
amazing.
I got to tell you a
I
good
did-
story how I met him. It's pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
want me-
I
you
did
want me-
hear you say you like to golf, don't you?
I'm not a golfer. I golfed a lot as a kid. I don't golf now, but we go to a lot of golf events. So we support.
Oh, okay.
We support a lot of Hall of Famers in their golf events. So we probably do a golf event once a month, and it gets us around a lot of cool celebrities. So it's kind of like being on the golf course without having to play. The older I get, the more I don't like that whole swinging thing. That hurts my back.
Yeah, we went to
Yeah,
Top Golf for my birthday, and oh man, I was so sore the next day. I'm like, what did I do?
I'm
Who
telling you,
won
it's a
that
lot
game?
of torque,
Who won that night?
on your back. 'Cause
Who won
I
that
work
night,
out
Ray?
every day, and like I went to Top Golf with Andre Reed, and he goes, "I didn't think you played golf." He's watching me whack a few balls. I go, "Of course I play golf." I says, "I just don't choose to play." It's not. As the older I got, the more I'm like, I don't have the time and to dedicate to it. And I think it's one of those sports you got to play a lot if you really want to be
Yeah.
good at it. And so I just said, I'll just show up and support golfing events, because we do a lot of golfer events. We actually do Charlie Hoffman, who's a PGA pro. We do his tournament every year, so all the PGA pros come and play. It's pretty
Oh,
pretty
wow.
cool to watch. So that's just one of the tournaments, one of our favorites. And we do Marcus Allen's tournament, Ray Lewis. We do a lot of celebrity golf tournaments. So I'm on the golf course a lot, even though I don't play.
I need to get on the golf course and come out there, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, have
I
you
can't.
been to that Torrey Pines?
Yep. I have been out to Torrey Pines. We don't do any golf events there, but I've gone out to watch what do they call that? Torrey Pines Open, that big PGA event they do every year. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah,
Okay.
I heard it's beautiful. A buddy of mine had a bachelor's party there and told me it was the best course he's ever seen.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's panoramic ocean views. How do you go wrong? So
Absolutely. So
Every
yeah,
year.
did you you kind of want to just give us a little deep dive on like how that came about and how that idea came about to dedicate that book to Bill?
Oh yeah, so this is a great story actually. I grew up in Nebraska, as I told you, in Omaha, Nebraska, and I loved UCLA basketball. And so of course, Lou Alcindor, Bill Walton, and all the rest of them, right? And so Bill's like a hero to me. I loved UCLA basketball, and so I meet Bill Walton. I'm actually interviewing him for a job. Now, how bizarre is that? What do you talk about with Bill? Other than his 21 for 22 in the finals, against who was it, Memphis State. So we were interviewing Bill to be the chairman of a group that I was on the board of called San Diego Sports Innovators. And Bill's just a tremendous guy. So, of course, we wanted to bring him in. My question, though, to all my partners, I said, can Bill do it physically? When I met Bill, I didn't realize he had just come off of back surgery. And it was radical back surgery. He hadn't been able to get off the ground for about a year and a half. He'd been laying on the floor, miserable, in pain. He had radical back surgery. And I had just met him right after that. So he looked like he was probably 65 at the time. He looked like he was 95. And he walked so slow at the time. And every time I saw Bill since then, he was walking faster. He was walking more straight up. He was riding his bike up and down the West Coast doing 500-mile trips. He came back to life, if you will. And so Bill was just a tremendous guy. So, of course, we hired him to be the chairman. And I was honored to have him part of our company. And, he just said, look, Jim, the answer is always yes, but I got to know everything about what you're doing. And Bill is really wise when it comes to, who he supports and why he supports them. And so he liked what our story was. And Bill was just a phenomenal ambassador, owner of our brand, because he would always show up. He looked like, he was all CALI strong, head to toe. And it was like, wow, this is amazing. And when he would get interviewed, they'd all want to talk about Bill Walton, and all he would want to talk about is CALI Strong. And it was just amazing, what he did for our brand. He brought a lot of people to our company. And like when I said, hey, Bill, let's do a collab. He goes, well, we need to have it with Grateful Dead. I go, okay, what do you want me to do with that? He goes, just call this guy. I call this guy up. And because Bill's like family with Grateful Dead. Next thing you know, we have a license with Grateful Dead. And it was just amazing. Like when Bill did his 30 for 30, if you haven't seen it, it's 4-hour special on ESPN. It's phenomenal. All about Americana, all about basketball, all about Bill. And he's touched a lot of things. And my buddy was like, oh, you need to call him up and get him to wear your gear. I go, no, I don't do that. That's not my relationship with Bill. I never ask him to do things because he would always say yes. And I said, I will never take advantage of you. And Bill is that guy. He was just the greatest guy to be around. And so sure enough, I watched 30 for 30 and there's CALI Strong, like through all the key scenes. So I was like, wow, I was in tears watching it. It was amazing. So yeah, so Bill was an amazing guy, and I'm getting ready to write this book, and I was going to have Bill write the foreword. And, he corresponded by email with me saying he couldn't work right now, and he wasn't, he didn't say anything like I'm sick. He died 3 days later. And that was, Bill was never about attracting attention to himself. He was all about you. And of course, Bill's the biggest guy in the room, both in stature, but also in personality and obviously, fame. And everybody wanted to talk about Bill, but all Bill wanted to do was talk about the other people. And so Bill was not going to take the sympathy route and say, hey, I'm probably going to pass away. I knew he was sick. I didn't realize he was that sick. And most of us didn't realize it. It was just like, you see, it really makes you stop and think, hey, every day is a blessing, and you never take tomorrow for granted. And so when that happened, I said, I got to dedicate my writing to Bill, and I think it's going to be a pretty special thing.
Yes,
That's
sir.
awesome.
R.I.P. to him,
Yeah.
man. That kind of put the basketball world in a halt. So that's real
Sure.
cool, man. Definitely going to try to check that out. Like I said last episode with Olden, I've been trying to kind of get into reading, and I have a dude who used to train me out here, and he got a book now, and I kind of wanted to start reading. So that's about 3 or 4 books already on my shelf that I need.
Very cool. I'll be honest with you, Juju. I don't sit down and read a whole lot of books. We're always looking at that phone, right? So to me, it's like, it's like listening to podcasts. I don't watch them. I listen to them, like when I'm driving or whatever. And so I think the books on tape is the way I think I read Bill's book, a book on tape, instead of reading it, it's easier. So I think you have to do both. But obviously I like to collect the books when they sign them and what have you. And it is pretty cool to read the books, but I also think it's important to listen to books as well. However you get the message across, it always works. And so I did a book a lot about leadership and and just, you know, going through life and how do I, you know, how I got to where I got in my career, and kind of the lessons that I learned along the way. And it was a lot about leadership and building great teams. And, you know, no leader is a leader without having a great team. And so it's like, you know, if you say, hey, someone's a great coach, well, I'm sure they've got some great players, and maybe he or she brought out the best in them, but it takes great players to win a championship. So that to me is what it's all about.
Yes, sir. I believe that. Right there with you. That's awesome, man, for real. And I've read
Yeah,
a lot
we
about you
you
too, and
gotta
then
catch
just
us
how you
out of
was talking about Bill, I feel like a lot of people say that about you, man. Everything I've seen is like you like to put others first. The stories from Julian, like you really like to put others first and include everybody. Like I feel like if you eat, everybody can eat. So
I
it's kind of like
appreciate that,
your
and
motto.
I think that's what it's all about. You know, like whenever we've celebrated Bill, I think 3 or 4 times now at certain events, and it's always the message is be more like Bill, and really that's about just helping others, and, you know, making the community better, making other people better. And what happens is the more you give, the more you get back, and it actually helps your situation when you give. And so, like, you know, when Juju came in, it was like, yeah, of course we're going to hook him up some gear. He's a great ball player. He's a great guy. And the next thing you know, he goes, I go, hey, you want to be in the movie? Because they were filming a movie in our store. It was called Second Chances. It still hasn't come out. They finished it. It looked really good, actually, Juju. And so they're in the negotiations of, you know, trying to put it on Netflix or Amazon or wherever it's going to go, Tubi. And so yeah, it's a long process, but they filmed it. Gosh, I think it was a couple years ago, Juju, when you did that, and that was kind of cool. So he was coming in there as
Yeah.
one of the guests in the room. Was that the day Andre Reed was there too?
Yeah, it was me, Andre Reed, Jason,
Yeah.
and I can't remember his name. I think he's been in a couple commercials, but him too. And
Oh yes, yes. Yeah, because you had
the
Ryan
Allstate,
Ochoa. Ryan
yeah,
Ochoa
yeah,
is a Disney actor. He put it all on.
yeah, yeah,
Gino Seegers. He's in a lot of commercials, but he's been
yeah,
in a couple shows too. He was in.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah, he
think
was
there
there
was
that day.
a scene where me and Jason or the young lady we were checking out, I was checking out like a dress for her, and then
Right.
Andre Reed comes in and we go and ask him for a picture, and then yeah, he takes a picture with us. I don't know if
Right.
they kept it in the show or in the movie or not, but I'm
I,
still gonna check it out. I was actually watching or looking it up, like, man, I've been telling everybody, man, I did a little part in the movie, but I'm
yeah.
like, I don't know the name of the movie. I just got the pictures right here, so
Yeah.
that's
So
good to know. It's gonna still come out though.
it's called Second Chance. It still hasn't come out, so I think it's probably 6 months, maybe a year away. But they have
Okay.
finished it. I have seen a pretty much a final. They showed the crew, and they showed all the actors. And there's some big actors in that show that you're going to
Mm-hmm.
recognize, probably 10 or 12 of them. You know, Seth Green, Noel G, who's, you know, from Fast and Furious, and a lot of big actors, Carolyn Hennessy. And it's a really cool show with a lot of folks in it. I believe that scene was still in there, Juju. I can't remember for sure, but I'm almost positive it's still in there. So we'll see when it comes out.
I'll be at the premiere. Just let me know what day and time it is, baby.
That sounds like a plan.
No, because I missed it. You remember I missed the yacht party you invited me to. It was on my birthday, but we were out of town for a basketball game, and Odin would let me stay. So I gotta make the premiere.
How was it? How was it playing for Olden?
To be honest with you, I think I had my best season with Odin. Like, as in, I put everything together, and it was sad it had to end so fast. But yeah, that was probably my just playing with him. He gave me the freedom, and like when you get confidence as a player, like you kind of become unstoppable. And then the fact that he keeps letting me be unstoppable, and kind of like, of course, he got on to me. It was just better, like a better coach, as in, because it was my first time being coached by anybody of that stature in the profession that I'm in, and it was definitely an eye opener. Like the little things he did, like kind of opened my eye of like, okay, you can't move this way. I remember one time he said we had a bad practice, and it was like a weekend. Everybody had just got like chosen from training camp, and he was like, y'all all still practicing like y'all made it. Just
Right.
because y'all signed the contract, I can cut you tomorrow. Any contract you sign is a day-to-day contract, regardless of how long it is. You got to come and perform every day. This is your job. So yes, when we have practice for however long, how many days, if you come to the game and you can't shoot, that means you weren't practicing outside of the gym. This is your job. This isn't AAU no more. This isn't college. This is what you get paid to do. So to be the best and get paid more and get more recognition, you have to work at your craft. And that's like you were saying earlier, you were trying to find a job that's not work. This shouldn't be work to us. It's just how we get better, and this just therapy to us now, or at least me now. And you know what I mean? At that time, it's like just playing for him. It was kind of, you just knew that when you go into the game, no matter if you made a mistake or not, he lets the game play out. And I like that about him because he's already seen it at the highest level. So he knows, okay, we can do this, we can do that. And we were a fourth quarter team. We came back every fourth quarter. And I think he liked that about us. And I mean, under him, we won the West Conference Finals first year, even though it wasn't like that many teams in the Western Conference Finals, but it's also the team we ended up beating was actually a pretty good team with some pretty good players. So I give him his props for that. I give him his flowers for letting everybody kind of be themselves. So he was a good coach for me. I'm not even trying to like blow smoke for him because I already told him this privately. So yeah, he did a lot for me, man. To be honest with you.
You know, it's pretty nice when you can have a coach that played 18 years in the league. I think it was 18 or 19 years. I mean, he's seen it all. So, and when he believes in you, that's very empowering. That means you can go out there and feel comfortable and do your thing. And you guys played that way. You know, I only went to a few games, but you know, you were all over the place. And so leadership goes a long ways, and you got to have great players that can play into that leadership style.
I appreciate that. And yeah, like it just and even with Odin, like it's not all about basketball. Like, look, I'm talking to you now, and I haven't seen you in 3 or 4 years. So it's just like I think being like me trying to be a good person and be like somebody that my daughter can look up to, it affords me the fact that you did this, or like the fact that I still have a good relationship with you through Odin. Is like that's just the stuff that he afforded me, and I'm you know what I mean, I'm truly blessed to be doing this, and like I said, I got my brothers with me, so it's everything we talked about. So yeah, he it's more than just basketball. Like I said, after the second game, it was a movie, so
sure,
that's a whole different lane that I've never been a part of.
You know what? At some point, we get pushed out, whether it's after high school, after college, after pro. You know, at some point, you got to move on with the rest of your life, right? And there's going to come a time where you can't play anymore. So what else you got? You know, you use all your contacts and you go out and make a new life, so to speak. And you're already doing that, getting on some podcasts and doing your thing and running your family. I appreciate that.
Sure. Yeah, we're trying to do it.
Absolutely, boss man.
I got a good question for you though. I wanted to ask you because, like, I seen your story, man. You started from here, and just steady climbed up, and then look at you now, man. It's a blessing. I wanted to ask you, what is the most significant risk you've taken in your career, and how did you manage it?
It's the most significant risk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like you
so
just got
I
to
would
lay it out.
say. You know, I would say this. I would say, don't be afraid to climb up a mountain that you've never climbed before. And it's like, because, you know, a lot of times you look at it and you go, and literally like growing up, no one in my life had jobs like I had. So I had no real role model like that. I had great people. My dad was a great man. I had great brothers and sisters and uncles, but nobody had the type of job that I've had. And so I had to kind of go over mountains, if you will, and find my path. And I would have never thought that I was just going to be a teacher coach. To become a CEO of a company or own a California sports brand, it just wasn't in my radar. So you have to be the risk is you can't be scared of going over a hill and seeing something you've never seen before. And I've had some really good role models in my life that have believed in me, kind of like, you were talking about with Olden believing in you. And I had some bosses that were just like, you need to be in management. I remember I was really good at sales. I could just control my own destiny. I made a lot of money in sales, and they were like, "Oh, we want you in management." And I'm like, "Oh man, I know that's less money in the short run, maybe more money in the long run. It's being the boss, if you will. And now you got the coach. You're the head coach trying to get your team together, and it's like, but that's a risk, if you will. So to me, always a new challenge is a risk, if that makes any sense. And literally, like I would never have thought about being an entrepreneur. Like everybody's like, "Oh, is this something you planned your whole life?" Not at all, not at all. And I would never have thought I would own a sports brand in California and have all kinds of celebrity ambassadors and partners. That would never have hit my radar. So to me, it was about taking risk and but having calculated risk. So like every time I climbed or left, I had somebody early in my career. I asked him, I said, "Does it look bad if I switch from company to company and climb up the hill?" He says, "As long as you keep moving up, if you need to move to another company," he goes, "nobody can fault you for that." And that's kind of a risk, because you're happy at one spot and maybe you're doing okay, and you see another job over here, you don't know what you're walking into. And most of the time I walked into a good situation. A few times I walked into a situation where I was like, "This is not good. I need to get out of here. And this it's going to last 6 months. I got to find the next opportunity." Like when I left LA Gear, I was ready to get on, and I went to Starter. I don't even hardly talk about Starter, but I went there, and the situation that I thought I was going in was not what it was supposed to be or what it was. And I was like, "Wow, I need to get out of here." I knew right away, like literally in the first 6 weeks, I'm like, "Oh boy, I made a mistake." And so you can't really say it's a mistake. You have to say, how do I move off of this to the next one? And then that got me working with Nike. And I probably wouldn't have worked for Nike if I hadn't made that move, if you will. It kind of forced me to think about going to Nike. And they're like, "Well, you need to move to Seattle from San Diego." And so that's a risk. Every time you take a challenge, it's a risk. And I've been fortunate enough that most of them have been calculated risk and they turned out. Some have not. Like when I took a risk to become a CEO, I had a phenomenal job at Quicksilver and Roxy, and my Converse partners asked me to be CEO of Pony, and it wasn't the best situation, and I knew it wasn't, but I did it for personal reasons because I was taking care of my son at the time, and it was back in San Diego, and I did it for the right reasons. And it was a risk because I went from a much bigger billion-dollar company down to a smaller company, and it turned out it wasn't a great fit all the way around. And so sometimes it doesn't work out, but you have to look at what does that lead to by becoming a CEO, and also kind of doing the whole experience. It made me think about starting to start my own brand, which I would have never thought about that before. So it I evolved into being an entrepreneur. And because when you have partners, even if you're a 1% owner, 5% owner, you still have bosses you have to report to. And so when you start your own company, yeah, you still have bosses. You have your partner, you have your investors, or whatever you have. So you're always reporting to someone on how you're doing. And what you want to do is get into a role that you can maybe have a bigger bigger voice. And but every time you make a move, to be honest with you, is a risk. But you do it because you just want to keep climbing the mountain. And so I climbed in the mountain the first time, and now as an entrepreneur, I'm climbing the backside of the mountain. And that's a risk. It's a harder path, if you will, but I want to do it. And so that's why I'm in it. And sometimes, some days you're like, what did I get myself into? But most of the time it's like, you know what, this is a heck of a challenge. And God has blessed me with a lot of abilities and great people in my life and great health. And why not? And every day, one step at a time leads to the next success story.
Amen. Amen.
That was a good question, Shotty. Oh, look at you
That was a great question,
here.
actually.
I appreciate the answer, man. That was that hit me really hard. Because at the chapter I'm in my life right now, I know you just saw the newborn baby, but I'm about to be 30, right? And my 20s were spent or my whole life until I had to stop playing football was football.
Okay.
And so like I always tell people, I feel like sometimes like I'm 11 or 12 years old, like when it comes to like the real life side of me, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the amount of time I've had outside of football. And so that's what I went to school for. I went to school for kinesiology. Finally got a job as a head coach this past year, and I left in the middle of the semesters. It was a small town, and I'm more of a big town guy. I said something, and it rubbed everybody wrong, and ended up me having to resign. And right after that, I was like, I have a daughter on the way. I got to figure out what I want to do. I'm probably not made to work for somebody, or
Right.
not work for the wrong person like that. And so I started a transportation and a small consulting marketing startup business, and so just Rashad, you asking about the risk and you saying that just taking the risk and understanding that it's a risk, but understanding like the risk reward system and how it can pay off for you is that just hit me hard. But I do have a question.
Yeah.
You're the when it comes to trying to turn around a business, right? And obviously I know you can only give me so much. Do you have a copy paste formula that you follow, or like where do you start? I guess.
That's a great question. And the answer is yes, there's a formula, but every brand has its own formula, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Yes,
You
sir.
still have to customize it and tweak it. Like, for example, what would work at Nike may or may not work directly at Oakley, and same thing going to the next one at Converse. So you can't take, like, literally going from Nike to Oakley. Oakley had a different personality, but they had a lot of the same characteristics. So you can use some of the same formulas, if you will, that work. And when I went to Converse from Oakley, Oakley was a much more California action sports, very in your face, sports brand. And Converse was a different personality. So there's a lot of it starts with people, and it starts with going back and looking at what brought that brand to the marketplace. So I've had the opportunity to turn around a lot of great brands, what I call iconic brands, and I feel very blessed to be part of these iconic brands. So you got to go back to what their history is and recreate that, if you will. What is that? What was the magic? What was the formula, the authenticity that worked at that company? So you take that, that's your core business, if you will. Then you have to bring something new to the table. You always have to bring something new, whether it's new ideas, new business practices, new distribution. You got to bring some new ideas to the marketplace. Otherwise, you're just going to be stagnant. But I always believe you want to build on the heritage of what it is. And so, like, when you start a brand from scratch, you have no heritage. And so it's a lot harder to start a brand. So I actually applaud people that have started the brand. And I looked at it and said, I want to start an authentic sports brand that would become iconic. And we're still a small company, but we've held those same principles to build an iconic brand. So we want to do things that last rather than do things for the short term. And so you have a formula, but you still tweak it very much to each individual brand or opportunity. And it's the same thing you were talking about when you start looking at doing another business. You're like, okay, sometimes when that door closes, like, for example, at Pony, that door closed for me. I'd never been fired in my life. I got fired by my Converse partners, the guys that I made all this money. And it was like, I still don't even know why I got fired. I did phenomenal things at Pony, but it was a very difficult brand. It was dead, and it's still dead. But it was like I did a lot of good work, and I looked at it and said, "Well, what did I do wrong here?" And it's okay. You kind of look into, okay, that door closed. It opens up the next door. And I went on to be CEO of a couple other companies, Bob Marley and audio. And then that led to CALI Strong. So everything happened for a reason. And so, like we were talking about, you were coaching at this place, and maybe it wasn't that great a fit. It's okay. And it's like, at the time, it's brutal. It's like, I've told you a few, negative things. I went to Starter, and that was a disaster. Pony, it turned out to not be a good move. I left one of the best jobs in the industry and went to Pony, made me a CEO, and I learned a lot. But in my career path, it turned out to not be so good. I had to really go a different route after that. And so when that door closes, it also opens up another opportunity. And I'm very spiritual, so I just believe God puts you in a place that you can handle. He doesn't give you anything
Absolutely.
that you're not capable of overcoming.
Mhm.
And at the time, there's times you pray and go, man, this is a hard mountain right now. I need some help. And you wonder why the heck I'm here. But you're there because you can handle it, and you're going to find a way. And actually, when it gets difficult, that's when you find your best opportunities. And one of my best friend out here is a former SEAL Team 6 guy, and his big tagline is "Get comfortable being uncomfortable." That's a Navy SEAL mantra, if you
Nice. Yeah,
will.
yeah.
And he's always saying it about me. And so get comfortable being comfortable. So whenever your life is hard, you're like, okay, my kids are not doing this, or they're doing this, my job situation's not working. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, which means find a way to get through it. Don't get stressed out and feel sorry for yourself. We all do it. Don't get me wrong. We all go through these. Woe is me. What did I do wrong here? How come how did I get to this situation? We all go through that. Then you say, okay, stop feeling sorry for yourself. What are the steps that I need to take to get out of this situation and climb up the ladder again, or climb up the hill? And so that's the way I always look at it. So every brand's a little different. Every opportunity is another stepping stone in your life, and I've been fortunate enough to do some really cool events, and I've had major success stories, and I've had some that have not been so great, to be honest with you. And we don't really talk about the failures much, but you learn a lot more from the failures than you do from the success, because once you're successful, you're like, okay, what's the next one? I'm ready to go. And it's like when you go through a failure, you have to really evaluate what the heck is going on in your
Because you don't
life.
want to do that again, right?
Yeah, you say, I don't want to do that. So what did maybe I caused it, maybe the circumstances caused it, but you have to evaluate everything. And then you say, okay, I need to really relook at my life and say, where do I want to go from here? And you find a way out. And so that's what everybody does. And you're going to find that way out too.
Yes, sir.
So I don't want this to kind of sound repetitive, but it's kind of piggybacking off that. We kind of want to start creating our own little shirts. And I know you was already in sales with Nike, and that's more shoes or anything.
Sure.
But like going into like more like activewear, outerwear, sportswear, that type of stuff, like your jacketing, you know what I mean? Could you kind of maybe give us like a little like a little sneaky insider that's like just an easy way to start it up instead of like getting a Gildan shirt? You know what I mean? Just going to the regular Gildan and
Yeah,
you know
it
what I mean?
depends on what type of shirt you want to do. You got to find a blank that you like. So like the Gildan is, I don't really like Gildan because it's more the blocky look, and it's a thicker look. But if that's what you want to do, there's a big market for it. So I end up liking more of like the performance products. So I'll do some 100% cotton. I'll do a lot of performance. So like 80% poly, 20% cotton. And there's a number of places you can go to. You can go to Optima, you can go to Next Level, you can go to a lot of other companies out there and find the product in the fit that you like. That's really the key. And then you say, okay, we've got a logo idea, we've got a strategy. My big thing is when you start a brand, get it out in front of people and let them tell you if it's on point. So like, for example, if you have a logo in a shirt or a hoodie, and you say, I think this is really going to work. Well, don't buy a bunch of them. Just get it started in a small way, test the market, see if your consumers like it. And today you really don't have to go print a lot of shirts. I mean, find somebody, most time they want 144 done of a style. We actually we print some of our own stuff now at our store, so we can do one-offs, if you will. But when you're first starting, you find a printer that can help you out and try to get them to 48, 72. They may not like it. Pay a little bit more, buy less of something, and test the waters until you find the one that really clicks. And so you've got to get in front of consumers. When we started Cali Strong, we were very fortunate. We had an opportunity to be in the Navy base at 32nd Street. And it's a phenomenal store. It's a $100 million store. And we were able to put our products in front of a lot of consumers. And so literally we had like 5 different collections when we launched the brand, and 3 of them worked. And it was the Cali Strong series, the Rasta. We do a lot of reggae Rasta stuff in our America series, and we had a couple other ones that were just so. But you find out really quick which ones work and which ones don't. And once you have it working, you drive it till the cows come home. And so you may look at that and say, okay, I'm going to start and sell them online. Is probably where you're going to sell them, or to your friends, and kind of build that business up. But don't go wide, go narrow, and find the ones that are working, and then dive in a little deeper. So you just got to be careful so you're not stuck with whatever, a bunch of shirts with a logo that nobody wants. And okay, you got 300 of them in your closet. It's like that. You don't want to be in that situation because you're going to probably end up giving them to the Goodwill. So it's like buy as few as you can, test the waters, and see if you've got something. The consumers will let you know really quick if you have something. And so, like, what happens when it works is like, oh, that's a great thing. It also is the next level of challenges. Now, all of a sudden, you got to duplicate yourself. You got to bring more new stuff. You got to take it to another level. You got to have, now you want to have shoes. Now you want to have, hoodies and hats, and everything goes to the next level, which is fun, but it also is more challenging at that time. So start small, be smart, don't buy a lot, sell first if you can. Like if you can even sell a sample, and it's okay, here's what I'm doing, go out and sell it, go get orders, and then they go, oh shoot, they really like this style, whatever that is, and now I can go back and make them. So just dabble before you step in with all your money, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. I definitely appreciate that. And just like you, we are like me and my brothers, we always just kind of harped on ownership and just kind of just wanting to be our own, you know what I mean, having our own identity, own brand, all this. So like when I kind of like got the word that we had a spot to do this podcast, I just kind of wanted to, this is like a perfect opportunity to own now. And then if we didn't do it, it just became like, okay, now it's on us. That's procrastination. We can't blame anybody. We have no more excuses. So I appreciate that advice right there, man. I really do.
It's a great time to be a small brand. To be honest with you, to be a big brand today they have all the power, they have all the money, they have all the resources. But the problem is, because of social media and now AI is coming into the equation, it's actually it's easier to be a small company. And now you can get lost in the shuffle, but it's like you have the opportunity. For example, 22 years ago, whatever, when we sold Converse to Nike, there was no social media. I would never think about starting a direct to consumer brand back then. We used to go to the Foot Lockers and the Nordstroms and Finish Lines and Journeys of the world. They were the gatekeepers to the consumer. And so, yeah, you have to get that consumer, but they were the gatekeepers. They were the ones that put it in their stores. You don't need, when we started Cali Strong 12 years ago, I knew we could go direct to consumer. Lululemon is a $9 billion direct to consumer brand. They're a phenomenal success story. So nobody can say, oh, well, I have to put it into retail. You can. That's an option, but it's like there's an opportunity out there to talk directly to a consumer. So the consumers just want to see the authenticity of the person and the company, and they want to see obviously great product, and they want to see a story behind it. And so you're able to do that. Anyone can do that. Now, you have to be smart about how you do that, because you got to manage the whole thing financially and operationally. That's where the challenge comes into. But anyone can do that, and I think a podcast is one of the best ways to get out and tell your story. And so we did podcasts back in 2020. We did 10 episodes during the pandemic, and we need to come back to it because it's a great way for a brand to basically advertise. It's how you get your message out.
Absolutely. So you seeing like the market change through technology and how it's going on right now with AI and maybe these robots and stuff going on. Do you think that's 100% necessary, or do you think maybe the old ways will still work in our favor, or do we kind of need to move on and go with evolution?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think you have to take the technology. So you got the social media access and AI. AI is going to change our world in ways that we can't even foresee yet. But I still believe it's old school values. And so at the end of the day, you're still selling a consumer. And so whether that's with an AI model that my tech guy creates and nobody knows that that's a AI model or a real model, nobody can tell anymore. And that's wonderful to use that technology, but it still comes down to selling a consumer or telling your message to a consumer. So I think utilize technology to tell your story.
Yeah. I like that. I believe in that as well. Because I just like you said, the AI can get scary. So, and then there's traditional people still who don't trust this and that.
Yes.
They rather have a face-to-face convo or
Yes.
face-to-face meeting to really sell them, to really get that. Because nobody just wants to be bought out by technology. You know what I'm saying? People want that home feeling, like that personal feeling.
I agree.
So I don't know if AI can ever get that fully. They can look like it, but the genuineness of believing in somebody's brand or company and then having them join, I don't think AI could fully take over that. So,
Yeah,
I understand.
it's going to affect a lot of things, but it still comes down to people talking to other people.
Mm-hmm. Word of mouth.
Yep.
I like that. And I had a funny story real quick because you talked about pony and stuff and starter. So growing up, I played AAU basketball and stuff. My coach, his name was Calvin Thompson, and he played at KU and all that.
Okay.
His nickname was Pony
Oh,
growing up,
beautiful.
and my mom and him had me because we used to wear Pony brand and stuff during our little warm ups and all that. So she had me believing that he was the owner of Pony for the longest.
I love it.
But
I love it.
I was going to ask you what is so you talked about how you left like a high job to go to Pony and stuff like that. And so I wanted to ask you, what's the most important lesson you learned from a failure, and what has it shaped your decision making moving forward?
Yeah,
Like after leaving Pony and stuff.
that's a good point right there. So I think what you learn is you have to look in the mirror, so to speak, and look at, like, sometimes you're working really hard, but you may not be working as smart as you need to be. And so, for example, at Pony, I was probably working 14 hours a day. I was just killing the game. At least I thought I was. But I was distracted because I was going through a personal divorce at the time. So I probably was distracted. I remember one of my partners saying, "Oh, you're distracted." It's like, yeah, of course I am. There was a lot going on in my life. But it kind of makes you reflect and say, okay, what are the principles that worked for me in the past that I want to go back and duplicate that, and maybe some of the things that you're doing that maybe don't serve you, because we all do stupid things where you're like, okay, well, why was I doing that at that point in my life, and I'm a health freak now, but I mean, we've all done things that we're kind of like, what were we doing, what were we thinking at that time? So failure to me makes you reevaluate everything in your life, both personal, spiritual, family, business, everything, where you really have to evaluate things honestly. And how do you come back and say, I got to make myself better, and get to and maybe the situation was not right, but you still have to look at how could I be better for the next situation, because there's always going to be another team or another organization that you're going to join, and you can't bring the baggage from the past over there, and that's sometimes difficult. So now you have to say, okay, I need to work on myself, so when I come to that next situation, I'm ready to go. And it's no different. I look at business just like sports. It's like, if you had a great year, it doesn't mean anything. Next year, you got to come back and do it again. It's like, I've played on championship teams where it's like you're at the top of the hill, everything is going right. Next year, you got to duplicate that, or you go start somewhere else on the bottom again, and you got to grow. And so you learn a lot through those failures, but you also got to make sure you're learning things when you're successful and what made you successful. And so I always believe it's just take a look at yourself. It starts with you, and then you can make your changes with your organization, your team.
I like that. I like that. The Chiefs need that. The Chiefs need that.
They do right now. They got to
We was on that
reevaluate.
pedestal. That was crazy. So yeah, I appreciate
we
that. I appreciate the
we go to
game.
the Super Bowl every year, and last year we were able to interview most of the Chiefs and the Eagles. We were on the field with them, and everybody thought they were going to win a three-peat. I'm sure they thought they were going to win a three-peat. So now, they're still two-time champ before that, but now you're either going to go away or you're going to come back. But they've got to reevaluate everything, players, style, and say, how do we get back to that championship form? Maybe what was working before and what wasn't. Like when I took over Converse, Converse was the former #1, and we were number 16 in the market. So you got to rest. When you go from #1 to 16, Converse was the Nike of their era. And so my whole thing when I first got the hoodie going, nice, Juju. When my first conversation at the first sales meeting, everything was, how do we get back to the top of the pyramid again? And I used Pat Riley's ladder of success, because Converse was at the bottom of the ladder. They used to be #1. So what were the great things that got them to #1? Obviously, they lost their way. We need to go back and reevaluate. Say, I want to be back on the pedestal again. I want to climb the ladder. And so we went from 16 to #7 in 2.5 years. So it was pretty amazing climb. But it was, you don't do things the way you did before. You've got to come with a lot of new energy and a lot of new ideas, and you got to evaluate real quick what's working and what's not working.
I got kind of a fun question. Thank you for that, man. That was beautiful. I have a fun question.
Love this. It's a free game, man. I feel so motivated already.
So maybe like, I don't know, get your brain going. So, as a business owner, if you can cut costs to make more, you do it, right? If it makes sense. Which AI is coming for everybody's jobs eventually. So my question to you, what is going to be the market that survives the longest, like as far as AI taking it over?
So what market, meaning like what categories?
What industry? What industry is going?
What industry?
What's going to be the last standing industry of people operating the job?
I'm not in the restaurant business. Would never want to be in the restaurant business or the bar business. But it's like that business, people are always going to eat, they're always going to drink, right? So that's a pretty darn good business to be in. Very difficult business to be great at. But I look at, shoes and apparel. People like to buy shoes and apparel. They're not going to stop buying it. They always want something new. We always want something fresh. So I think it's a category that it may not be growing like it was. Like when I got in the industry, the athletic shoes was going through the moon. And it was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Where now it's still growing, but it's just an enormous marketplace. But I don't think people are going to stop buying shoes and apparel. But obviously everything right now is technology. Everybody's excited about technology, and rightfully so. And technology affects every single industry. So I actually like I still like the footwear and apparel business, because that's what I know. But there's obviously a lot of other categories that are going to grow safe, like crazy.
Now now that you say it the way you do, I feel like your industry, you're probably pretty safe. Like robots might even want some clothes down the line. You never know. Like
we dressing them up.
The way
they're gonna look just like us.
Yeah, the way his shop is, y'all, bro. His shop is like, it's like a college campus in a way. Like I don't know how to explain it, man. Hopefully we can come out there and see it. But y'all like that I don't know. So that, just like that question you just said, like there ain't no way AI can, like Rashad was saying earlier, the genuine stuff, there's no way AI can take over that type of genuine. And then when you go into your shop, like how kind of you got the skateboards, you got you got all sports inside of one. You got all your Hall of Fame pictures all over. So like I don't think you can't really get that with technology too much.
Yeah, so we try to make it an experience, and we call it retailtainment. So Juju, we didn't get into it. We actually have basketball, we have football toss, we have cornholes, we have retailtainment games that the customers play. After they buy something, they get a chance to win hats and socks and skateboards, and so they interact with the store. So it's a really cool concept. The biggest thing though is people don't shop as much as they used to, because they can buy everything online. So you have to acknowledge that. And so when they do come into your store, we want to make an experience. One, customer service, being nice to people, helpful, and then obviously give them great product and give them a memorable experience that they can walk out and go, wow, I've never thrown a ball across the floor and across the store, and I've never had such great service. And so that's really a foundation of our brand. And I think that's still going to be in demand. I'm not sure we're going to have robots doing it, but there'll probably be at some point you walk into a store, a robot will be helping you, and especially if you go into a burger joint or whatever, that you may have a robot in there serving up the food, and they're going to be more efficient. They don't take any days off. I mean, so you have to acknowledge that it's there and it's going to be part of our business. But I believe that the humanity side of it is still going to find ways to create new opportunities in this new tech world. That makes sense.
And that last little part you just said literally goes right into my next question is, I was going to say, do you think the fear of somebody walking into a store and seeing a robot, you know what I mean? With that, you think that would probably stop the transition or progression of it a little bit?
I think when we first see it, we're gonna like it because it's like you're so curious to walk in there. You walk into your Starbucks and there's gonna be a robot serving your coffee, and you're gonna be so in awe of it, like, oh my gosh, look at this. You're gonna take your camera out and film it. But at the end of the day, that robot's probably not going to interact as much as a human. You're not going to have the same connection. It's just going to be very matter of fact. There's not going to be a humanity side of it, but they might be more efficient at doing those simple tasks than a human is. But when it comes to building a brand, I still believe the humanity side of it, and that real people, real community really connects. And I think people still want to be connected to real people.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
you never know.
Like, my fault, Shotty, not to cut you off, but just to like stay on his point, what he was saying, like, I kind of feel like if we was to go all robot, all technology, I feel like within 10 years, people would kind of start missing humanity and missing kindness and missing kind of respect, and maybe getting a door held open for you when you had a bad day just by a stranger, and kind of getting a pat on your back by a stranger, even though that can still happen. And I'm not saying that, but sometimes you going to a barbershop, like, and just us, and kind of our culture, us going to a barbershop, that's all, like, that's where you, like, that was the news to us growing up sometimes,
right?
Friday. So robots I mean, you can, of course, the AI can respond back to you and this, that, and the third, but I don't think you can kind of get that humanity. And I think people would kind of miss it if we went all technology and AI at some point. But
yeah, I think
it's also evolution in the future, so we can't low key be scared of it. But that's just what we do. We keep progressing as humans. So as in the world too. So
you watch all those futuristic shows, and they're not that far off, really. It's kind of bizarre to see that, and it's happening really fast. And so we've got an AI expert that does our technology for our company, and he's like my son. He's got a form of autism called Asperger's, and so they think like a robot, but they're human, obviously, and they love this excitement of AI because it plays to their world. They're computer savvy. They live in their rooms, if you will, in front of a computer, and they love that they can control a lot of things via their keyboard. But I still think it comes down to, like, for example, AI. He teaches me a lot about AI. And so, like, for example, if AI tells you something, it's usually because somebody is inputting that information, and they want to make sure AI gets tied to people of authority that are hopefully telling the truth. I just think there could be a lot of misinformation going forward. That kind of is worrisome, because if somebody is considered the expert and they say the sky today is red instead of blue, well, all of a sudden it's like, well, maybe it is red. It kind of looks red, because they say it is, and the machines will regurgitate what they're saying, the expert is saying. And so what he's done a really good job of making us an authority at what we do. So as a small company, we have a domain authority of like 58, which I guess is really good for a small company, because we're up against big companies. So when we say something, it sticks, or it gets discovered. But you have to say accurate things But I do fear that there's some people that have authority. If they say things are wrong, the computers will just keep regurgitating the wrong information. So AI to me is very scary, but it's very exciting at the same time. He was telling me that today's technology that's happened in the last year, it's changed so much. He said, I thought it would take another 25 years to get to this point. It happened in the last year. So it's changing super fast. And you notice that's where all the stock money is. Everybody wants to talk about, how are you affected with AI? And so you've got to acknowledge that world and know that it's going to change everything. But it still comes down to, nobody's going to take care of our babies like you're taking care of. A machine isn't going to do that. So you still have to take care of that, so you still want to get a haircut, talk to your friend, whatever. And it's like, so you have to use technology to simplify your life, not complicate it.
Right.
Absolutely, man. So, did you guys want to ask him another question, Shotty?
Oh, I was just gonna harp on what you're saying, like how AI, just like you're saying, if AI was to take over, you never know. Because from hearing what you're saying, like networking and like teamwork is like really big for you. So like you never know who you're gonna meet at that Starbucks, you know what I'm saying? You can meet your life partner, somebody with a vision or a goal that you can help bring to life that could benefit both of you. So that's why I always think the real will always prevail, and the real is just gonna last forever. And the real just gonna have to learn how to navigate and move forward with the technology. So yeah, I understand. So
Well, that's why it's always good for us to get out and network and meet new people, because you never know where your life is going to go with the new people that you meet in your life.
Have you got a chance to see a robot yet?
No, but that one Elon Musk is talking about. I think it's like $30,000. I mean, it's very affordable. I go, oh my gosh, we could have him running the store.
And truth be told, you pay someone that, right?
I haven't really seen a full one. I've just seen all the videos of it, and it's pretty amazing. They can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to say please and thank you to any AI, any. I say please and thank you just so they remember me being cool.
Hey,
make sure they don't turn into the Terminator on you.
Like, hey, you're good. Everyone else,
yeah. Get them up out of here.
Oh man.
But yeah,
go ahead, Shotty. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask him, how do you balance like short-term goals and long-term goals in your company? Is this something you kind of distribute to somebody like
I think
different groups?
You have to constantly stay focused on what your long-term goals are, even though you're not working on those 100%. To me, it's try to make your short-term goals stack and add to your long-term goal. And so never take your eye off the vision, if you will, and you say, okay, I want to be here at this top of this mountain in whatever 10 years. You got to constantly stay on that path, because it's very easy to go off track, and we get distracted by life in general. And so that's probably been one of the best things I have, is I have an ability to stay on task. And so when I'm focused, I'm hyper focused, and maybe to a fault, because that's what I love to do, and I want to accomplish that. And so to me, you still have to get your everyday short-term goals done, but stay on the path so you're not off to the right or off to the left. Because if you're trying to go from California to New York and you don't have a map, and you're going to end up in Florida and wonder what happened to you. Why am I over here in Florida? So you really got to stay focused on where you're going to, and that's your long-term plan. And hopefully your short-term goals are leading up to that ultimate long-term plan.
Even at this chapter of your life, like with the success you have and the ownership you've been 12 years in, over a decade long, are you still like just on me, like I'm starting to really love knowledge. So like for you, since you kind of have accomplished a dream and then a dream, and then what I'm saying, a lot of other people's lifetime dream, is there anything that you still want to kind of learn do in the next couple of years? Like, you still want to gain something every day? Is that still like a thing for you, where you still are kind of have a hunger for knowledge?
I think you have to be hungry for knowledge every single day. One, it doesn't matter what you've accomplished. If you think you're the smartest guy in the room, that's a problem. It means you always have to learn from somebody. And if you're the smartest guy in the room, maybe you need a bigger room with more bigger minds in there. But to me, it's like you can't get full of yourself. You've got to constantly focus on where you want to go and still accomplishing. Because to me, if you're not aspiring to make your life better and learn more, then it's time to just pack it in. And I think, like, like people always say, well, will you retire? I don't think I'll ever retire, to be honest with you, because to retire to me means, what am I going to do every day? And I'm not focused. So you constantly have to have goals in your life and aspirations, and it makes you better every day. It gets you out of bed. So you actually have short-term goals and long-term goals. And I'm 66 years old, and I still have long-term goals. And I don't know if I'm going to live that long, but I still have those goals. And so to me, it's all about learning and all about aspiring for new goals. And I think if you stop doing that, I think it's time to die. And so I constantly focus. I work out now. It's harder to work out than when I was younger, but I work out every single day because I need it for my mind. I need it for my soul. But I have to focus on those things. And it's like life doesn't get easier. You just have to say, okay, what can I do and accomplish at this point in my life, and not be content. You can never sit still because life will just run you over. So you have to constantly keep fighting and keep aspiring for the next thing.
All over it. All over it. And you giving us gems, man. You giving us gems.
Don't be surprised if
I
you
need
go
to
see
put something
yourself
into action.
viral. You'll see yourself on Instagram clip next week.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, sir. And
You
it might be a
definitely
few things
going
I
on
didn't
some
I didn't
clips.
took for a caption.
Oh, he's definitely going on some clips. You can believe that. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Oh, I want to
How
get a
old are
little
you?
personal real quick.
How
He said,
old are you? What's your
That's the
name?
sweetest girl ever.
Say Raya.
Raya. Beautiful.
Yeah, because she want to
Beautiful.
act shy now. She's been talking the whole time. I've been
I'm
having her
sure
on
she's
mute.
getting shy. She's on camera now.
Yeah. Go ahead,
I
though,
love it.
Sadi.
I wanted a little lighthearted question because you did say you was a sports guy growing up. What was your sport? Your your favorite sport?
I probably loved playing basketball. I was short. I was probably not made to be a basketball guy. I probably should have been like a wrestler or something, but I loved basketball. So I played football, basketball, baseball, and track, all the way through
Oh,
school.
okay.
And I wasn't great at any of them, but I was good enough to play, obviously, everything. And then what I was really good at was being physically fit. And so I got involved with a fitness program through our high school, and it became the Midwest Fitness Champion, 6th in the country, and it was sponsored by the Marines and Post Cereal, and it was a pretty cool thing. So first time I got on an airplane to travel to Washington D.C., and so that was just something that it trained me to work out and be involved with fitness the rest of my life. But I just love sports in general. It's my life. I've been fortunate enough to follow sports my whole life. I played sports, I've coached sports, and then now I work in the sports business, and it's my hobby. It's my life. And so to me, watching Sports Center is part of my career, but it happens to be what I love to do. And so, like, if I was whatever, an accountant or an engineer, I'd probably still be watching Sports Center, but it wouldn't be helping my business. It would be a completely different deal. So when I follow Sports Center, it's really to understand some of the folks that we're going to probably see or meet somewhere along the line. So I just feel really fortunate to be in that industry where that's my lifestyle. And so I've always been around sports. It's been my life.
That's awesome.
Hey,
I wanted to
y'all.
ask you got any
Oh, good.
highlights? Like, you got any highlight stories? Like like game winners from there and then? It's just something that just sticks with you from your
Not
young
really,
sports
not
career?
really. I was really fast. So one that was good was I think I got a walk, but it was probably like when I was in third or fourth grade. I think I got a walk and I stole second, stole third, and stole home. And I scored the winning run. I got written up in the newspaper. So I was like, oh man,
Woo!
I thought I was a star
Yeah,
at that point.
that's
Oh,
big time there. That's big
it
time.
was fun just because you see your name in print. You're like, oh man. But I actually got a lot more press from the fitness thing. I got all these TV shows. I was written up in the newspapers, and so I got a lot of accolades for being this fitness champion, more so than sports. But like in high school, I played on a team that was really good. We were number one in state. We knocked off number one during the season, and so we became number one. And then the final game, we had to play the same team twice, and they beat us, so we finished third in state. And third in Nebraska is like being third in San Diego. It's like it's a whole different world when you come out here because it's like
Yeah,
it's such a big state. You become state champion in California, you're a major player. And
yeah, we're
so
getting good
we
looks.
had some good successes, but more than anything, sports just taught me a lot about life, and it's really what it's a foundation of my life. It's how you meet people, it's how you treat people, how you act, how you act as an employee or a player, and then how do you treat people as a coach. So to me, sports is just like business, and it's just like life. And so I think when people are playing sports, they need to play it as long and as hard as they can. But to me, you're learning life lessons all along the way, and that's the most important thing. And what I found, like when I was coaching or if I was refereeing, umpire back in school, it would be like parents think their kids are going to go to the pros. You know what? There's like less than 1% of the people go to the pros, and it's like it's such a small number. So you have to really look at learning about life in sports, not, hey, my kid's going to be the next NFL player. Pretty good chance they're not going to be the next NFL player. And if they are, they might play 1 year, 2 years. They're going to have to do something after life. It isn't, sports isn't the end all. And so to me, sports is life, and you better learn the values of life. And I believe sports is a pretty good way to do that. But if you get too crazy and think that your world is all about the money of being a pro athlete, that's a pretty hard task to do.
You got one more question for him, Deuce?
Yeah, I got one more, man. I want to respect your time, but you just made me go down a rabbit hole of thoughts.
Okay.
I'm also in the 7-on-7. Like I run a 7-on-7 team. I have a top 25 team in the country, and I was just wondering, are you guys getting into the name, image, likeness space or anything like that? As far as like, because now I feel like kids are getting paid at young. It's gonna keep getting younger and younger. You know what I mean? Like Texas just the other day, like now seniors can get paid by the university they're committed to. Like University of Florida can give the number one corner in Texas 100. They can Venmo them 100K. You know what I mean? Like, so I was just wondering, are you guys in the NIL space at all?
We kind of fell into it, to be honest with you. And NIL to me is changing the game. And you can say from a player standpoint, that's a good thing. I have some other thoughts about what that means to the overall sport. I mean, now you have colleges that are able to pay people rather than it's a whole different level. So we've gotten into it because we just try to be really authentic and true to the consumer and true to our sports. And so I had a couple coaches here in town, and one of the best players in town is a guy he coaches, Jake Hall from Carlsbad. Just got a scholarship to New Mexico. He comes down and he goes, I want to bring Jake down, and I want to do an NIL deal with you. I'm like, I don't know. We don't have the money to pay, a kid or whatever. And so we worked out a situation with apparel and, a royalty or whatever. And so I was like, okay, so we're kind of in the space, right? But it was really cool. People really responded to it. Like when I posted that up, I was like, wow, you're in the NIL game. I'm like, well, maybe we should do a little more of this. So I kind of fell into it. And it was because a coach called me and said, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Well, and then I get a call from Supreme Athletics, not Supreme the fashion brand. It's Leon Muhammad. He's a gentleman that runs Supreme Athletics, and he has all kinds of young athletes. And he calls up and he says, I have the number one 8th grade basketball player. Phil Reed is his name, out of Compton, and his sister is Armani Reed. She's the number 4 girl in 10th grade, and they want to sign with you. And I said, again, we're a small company with a really big footprint, but we just don't have a lot of money to pay these young athletes, and don't know if that would really be a smart investment on our part anyway. What are they going to really come back and sell a lot of product for us short term? Maybe in the long run they would. And so we ended up signing the Reed family, and like I said, he's the number one 8th grader in the country, getting ready to go to a big school next year in LA, and so it's pretty cool. And so we did a whole signing with them. We had a party where we brought Cheryl Miller in, and they want to both go to USC, so it was really cool. And we had this. It was on 8/24/24, so it was a big Kobe Bryant day, and we had a huge party. We brought a bunch of celebrities in. We brought up some music and drinks and food, and we did a kind of a signing party, and it was really cool. They're a great family, so I love getting involved with really great people, and so that's been a really good situation for us. And since then, we've got a couple other players, and it's mostly been in basketball. So Leon Muhammad does a lot of football players, but he's brought us a lot of basketball. So his partner Javon Rozon was a former professional player over in Europe. His son Daniel is playing at Bethune-Cookman. I think I'm saying that right, down in Florida. He's a phenomenal player, and looks like he's going to go to the NBA. So we did a little hookup with him, and we're even now with the Reeds, we're going to start doing a little apparel line with them. So it's a collab. They call it a collab apparel. So our logo, their logo, and we're going to do that this summer. We're going to do a party for that. So we're in the space because we have to be, and it's pretty cool, to be honest with you. But we don't have a lot of money to throw around. It's really, we're doing it more. Hey, we can support you maybe with an apparel line. We can support you with connections with our celebrity crowd. We can put on different events with you, bring in some sponsors that can help you. So, we've got some really good people that are part of our company that are not directly involved with our company, meaning they don't run our company every day, but they're very good friends of our brand. And Supreme Athletics has been phenomenal. So we're like partners with them. And I've got a lot of coaches that are bringing us the next young player. And it's pretty cool to watch. And so we've kind of started at the top, because we have a lot of Hall of Famers that are our owners. We see a lot of celebrity football, basketball players. We deal with them, and it's kind of nice to see the young kids that are going to be climbing up the mountain here very soon. And you have to be careful as a brand to not go out to too many different people. You really want to bring in people that you can handle, meaning you don't want to do too many things. You want to do a less things, but do them really well. And so we're excited about the people that have been involved with our brand. So I think the Reeds are great, and Daniel Razan, and we've got a number of other players coming in that are going to be part of our family, if you will, our community.
Man, props to you for kind of like standing on what you say. Like this whole interview, you've been kind of saying like you're not afraid of the next step. You're not afraid of pushing a different agenda, and the fact that somebody came to you kind of on a whole different place that you never been in, a whole new space that kind of everybody else is taking part of, and the fact that you jumped out and kind of, like you said, take risk. You've been taking risks all your life, and the fact that it's working out for you, man, just props to you. But I definitely want to say I appreciate you for your time. I know I first asked you for 30 minutes, and I know we kept you a long time.
No, that's fine. This has been fun, so that's no problem at all.
I appreciate that. So I'm gonna after I give you these little ice questions, man, about 10 questions, man. See what you got. See where your mind's at. Then we'll get you up out of here.
All right,
man. We're gonna start off. I know this kind of an easy one. Randy Moss or Jerry Rice?
Oh, Jerry Rice. Okay. Jerry Rice. I have this jacket called the gym jacket, and I have a picture with Jerry Rice wearing the gym jacket and me wearing the gym jacket. It's like priceless.
Yep, I got it for you on the gram. I had to put that on there. Okay. If you were traveling overseas, would you rather travel by yacht or private jet?
Oh, jet.
Jet.
Definitely
Get
jet.
get there faster, huh?
Yes, definitely.
No playing around. Okay. This is a little controversy right here. Nike or Converse?
Ooh. Converse, because it was one of the best times of my life. I had an amazing team. The success was crazy, so it's a special place in my heart forever.
Absolutely, absolutely. Then I didn't want to know what you was gonna say right there. But okay, if you're on a championship team, would you rather be the star player or the owner?
I think the owner, because I think I've never been the star player. I mean, I was in business. I wasn't as a player, if you will. And, and that's kind of the interesting thing. It's like, and instead of being the star player in sports, I became the star player in the business. And so like at Converse, I was the face of the brand. I was the star player. I was the general or whatever. But it's, as an owner, I think you see the bigger picture. That's what I would rather be that.
Yep, for sure. Okay. Are you a more of a movies or TV shows?
I love movies for entertainment, but I watch a lot more TV shows. I only watch a few things. I watch news and sports. I'm very focused. But when I need to get my mind right, I go watch a movie, and it doesn't really matter what it is. Just something to get my mind off of the day to day.
Okay. I guess it's kind of like the same kind of question. You kind of answered it, but I'll put it out there anyway. Would you rather be an actor or the director? The star actor or the star director?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor. So I would say actor.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Switch it up a little bit. Switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, that one surprised me. Okay, the last and final one. I mean, LeBron or Jordan?
Oh, Jordan. No question.
Absolutely.
No question.
Absolutely.
Respect.
He's the GOAT. And I think there's some other players in between LeBron and Jordan. That's just my opinion.
We'll say that for part 2.
That's it.
Hey, can I ask you one last thing before we go? Just something quick.
You got it.
Since it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, we try to we make sure we check in on each other, man. I just wanted to real quick. How are you in your mental, and how do you kind of cope with things if stuff gets too out of hand for you or something?
Good question.
You know what? That's a good question because everybody needs to do that. So to me, we all go through difficult things in our life. And those who say they're not, they're probably lying, right? And it's like, we're guys, so we don't like to talk with, like girls talk a lot to their friends. Guys kind of keep everything within. So what I do when I'm down or whatever, I'm not feeling perfect, my go-to is to work out. It gets my mind right. It's a physical thing, but it's a mental and a spiritual thing for me. So I always call it my hour of power, but it's my time to regenerate myself and get my mind right and maybe set my barometer better. And then I also make sure I get enough sleep and I eat really healthy and kind of keep myself on that schedule. And I know whatever difficulty I'm going through, if I do fundamental things for myself, I'll get through it. And it also comes back to get yourself out in the game, because we get stressed out about something that's going to happen, and it's best just to get going. And once you get going, momentum takes over. All of a sudden, you're like, that problem I thought was so bad is not so bad anymore. And then I think you should also be able to have some people to reach out to that you can talk with a little bit, but that's not really a fun thing for dudes to like, hey, I'm not doing too good today. I mean, that's a hard thing. So to me, you kind of got to learn how to adjust yourself. It's like anything else in life. It's like, okay, I'm not feeling perfect. I'm off balance. Why am I off balance? Okay, maybe I need to eat better, work out. You got to have things that you can go to that take away, that build you back up. And so I've learned how to rebuild myself because everybody's gone through difficult things in their personal life, and the older you get, the more you'll go through them. And so whether it's getting fired or going through divorce or going through difficult times, whatever, everybody has to overcome that. And so the best thing to do is find different ways to cope in your life. And the answer is not go to the bottle. Like, hey, I'm feeling like shit, I'm gonna go drink. Well, I'm gonna feel worse after I drink a lot. I may feel better for the short term, but not for the long term. So to me, it's like, do something positive. One, go accomplish some things. To me, my go-to is working out, sleep, recover, get healthy, and start accomplishing things again. And the busier I get, the less I have time to think about negative things, and all of a sudden those problems are behind you.
Absolutely,
Amen.
man. That's a good ass
Amen. I
question
appreciate
right there,
that.
Scotty.
No, I appreciate that. I really needed that, and that's a great answer, man, for real. Because it's been a long few weeks, man. So hearing how you
Absolutely.
maneuver and keep positive and like health is wealth and stuff like that, that's something I'm working on as well, as far as falling back into my faith. So I appreciate that a lot.
And I think
that's just reassurance from God what I need to keep going.
and you said something important, and you better have faith. It's like, you know what, when the chips are down, I can't imagine what it would be like if you didn't have faith. And so to me, when real negative things happen in your life, maybe it forces you to get faith, right? Because whatever you people want to believe in, I'm not here to preach to anyone. I know you have to have a higher being in your life so it keeps you focused. It's like if life is just about this, there's not a whole lot of motivation to keep going. To me, you just try to live the best life you possibly can, but you've got to think about a bigger picture. And I think it keeps us elevated when shit hits the fan, so to speak, and life is falling in around us. You find ways to cope with it, and then you start thinking of the bigger picture and say, okay, where am I going long term? And so I think it's really important for people to find a faith some way, somehow in their life.
Amen. For real, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. And make sure you guys send me your numbers, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah. So I
I'm
definitely
about to follow you on Instagram now from my personal account as well.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Hold on real quick, okay, my man? So everybody, viewers, that is the CEO of Cali Strong, Jim Stroesser. Hey man, we definitely appreciate this. This was coming as so we're on first now starting to own our podcast. Deuce is down there owning his own business, and we're now becoming kind of first year owners. And that whole hour and 30 you just gave us, boss man, was great. I'm actually probably gonna watch this episode a lot just for when I need just a little couple things that you were saying in there. So I definitely appreciate you to the fullest, man. And I would definitely text you a little later, get you in touch with these guys right here. And
sounds great.
Hopefully we can do this again, boss man.
Hey, sounds good. I appreciate you guys, and you guys have a great day. And I respect that you're making your own path, doing shows like this and doing your own businesses. I think it's pretty impressive. And so you just do what you got to do to make it come together and take care of your families.
Shout out to the pioneers, man, like you, bro. Shout out to the pioneers.
Take care, fellas.
Omaha's finest.
You got that good luck hoodie on, so
yeah. I'll let you know when we out in San Diego.
He's gonna get a big head when that movie comes out, though.
Just let us know when the premiere is. We there, man.
I will. Take care, guys. I appreciate you.
Peace out, bro.
All right, man.
Bye.
See you.
Jim Stroesser, everybody.
Hold up. Viewers, man, I ain't gonna lie. Me and June was talking earlier, bro. Me and June was just like, man, we might not even do this today. Like, June going through some stuff, you know what I'm saying? I'm going through my stuff. Our other homeboy, Kalen, that you always see, man, he going through something right now. He just had his first dog ever. He had to put down, dog, 15 plus years old. And we care about our animals, man. We just love and caring people. So we almost canceled today's podcast because we just we wasn't in it. Like what we wasn't feeling it. Like we was talking to Jim Stroesser, like a big time Jim, you know what I'm saying? And we wanted to come correct for it, and we almost canceled today, but You know what I'm saying? We pushed through. Man, I feel amazing. Just after listening to him, just talking, I just feel so motivated, bro, for real. Like,
and to kind of piggyback off what you were just saying, the reason, and I know I told you this about a month and a half ago, Deuce. When I first asked him to do this, I remember I told Deuce, like, this is the episode I really want you to be on, because I knew the kind of game he could give you, and you starting your business, man. So that's kind of why I was like, nah, well, I ain't canceling today. It ain't just me. It ain't just Shad. It ain't just Deuce. It ain't just Kaylin. It ain't just, like, we started this shit, and I mean, even through the days, like, we ain't going through shit that he probably ain't go through today. He probably had a bad day today, or he probably had something that happened yesterday or last week that he was just like, okay, I kept this obligation. I'm going to go by it. So why would I tell him, hey man, we not feeling this today, we'll do it? Like, nah. We change the energy for him, and that's just being grown men, bro. You gotta handle business and shit. Life gonna keep happening, baby. Like, it is what it is. Like, nigga, I got my man. Yeah, today was just crazy.
Yeah, tell us off the recording. But
yeah, okay, no, I got you. But
what's your
yeah, no, dude, I definitely
before we slide?
we not done.
Oh, I just have a question. What did let's all just give like maybe 10 seconds and say, what did you get most out of today?
Yeah.
I guess I'll start.
Yeah, you can start.
Ask me though, so I have a few seconds to think.
Yeah.
Hey, Deuce. What from this interview that we did? What's the most significant thing you got from this message?
Rallo son.
In 10 seconds, go. No, I was playing. Man, just from the jump, how he just an athlete who had to figure out how to not be one, you know. And I feel like the only active one I know in our group right now is Sway. You know what I'm saying? So we're all on that for real. You know, just like taking risks, taking calculated risks, and really like what I got from him the most is it seems like even he didn't know what we were about to ask him, but every answer he had, it seemed like he had a script. So that tells me how prepared he is. You feel me? Like he's very prepared, and be prepared, take calculated risks, and enjoy the highs and lows, because that's what life is, bro. And I appreciate you, Jim, for sure.
No, I definitely wanted you to be a part of this one, if anything. I was gonna do whatever I need to do to get that damn Wi-Fi working if we was in the other spot. No, and dead ass, because I just knew what these two guests were going to do for us. And even our next guest coming up, he got a lot of game for us as well. But no, what I took from him, man, and this is even before he even got on, was preparation. Like, I got my, got my favorite chair here. You know what I'm saying? The chair Nani gave me. I wanted to have like a different type of background. I just wanted to kind of be like, okay, hold on, let me, and not just no. Then that's no disrespect to my OG Odin. I was just a little bit unprepared, and then kind of me watching our video through, kind of, you know what I'm saying? You live and you learn. I watched film. I try to do shit different. I didn't like getting up as much. But of course I had a baby girl, but even when he started talking, I just kind of realized the realness of being a man of your word. I think the thing that affords you the most in life is being a good person, and I'm kind of seeing those benefits now. But just when I mean this dude shawty, but just from being like, what I mean by him saying what he says is like the shit he was saying through the what's the name about taking risk, and then at the end he says he took the risk on the NIL and it worked out, and just like, you know what I mean, him just standing on what he says, like him, like, bro, he knew me for not even 48 hours and walked me through the whole thing, treating me like he knew me for 5 years. So just being a genuine person is what I took the most from him. Business wise, I guess I took a lot of just take it easy. You know what I mean? Like, I've been having all these ideas on my head, and I haven't completed none of them when it comes to like the shirts and shit. So just take it easy with this one idea, get this one idea done, kind of build that one idea, then go to the next one. Don't have just 12 ideas in your head and think you're gonna just push 12 ideas. Hey, look at this, bro. Look at this. This little girl is on the sink again.
Unacceptable behavior, baby girl.
That's Lil Lowski, man.
You can't. You just.
I can't tell the twins apart. That's little bro.
Yeah, you can't tell them apart. They look nothing alike.
Well, I mean, not when they're like not together, nigga.
No, this Rollo.
That's Lil Lowski.
Little Rollin. This your little nephew. Hey, big daddy.
Go ahead, Shotty. I'm done. Give your 10 seconds. What you take from it?
So, man, that's what I'm saying, bro. I took a lot from it. Like,
well, I guess you did.
One of the things, like what I've been talking about. One of the major things is like he got there off faith. Where he at there off faith, man, believing in something, believing in the higher power, like, and that higher power gave him his ideas, his drive, his what's the word I'm looking for? His strength to take risk and bet on himself. And that's another thing I took too. Just you gotta bet on yourself, man. Like, he took them risks leaving Nike to go to starter and pony, you know what I'm saying? And then was not you know what I'm saying, it didn't turn out to be what it be. But then him betting on himself got right back to where he needed to be to do what he needed to do. Another thing I took is health is wealth too.
Health is
wealth. I feel like a lot of his success comes from if you healthy physically, mentally, man, you can't be stopped. You thinking clear, you moving clear. And another big thing about him that I kind of I like and I got from just doing my research as well is that his teamwork and his networking. Like, he's not too big. Like, I'm looking at JIM STROESSER, like, bro, you sold Converse to Nike, bro. Like, you big. What is you doing with us? What is you doing giving my bro a part in your movie? Like, bro, like he's not too big for nobody. So
on a podcast where like I mean we're still in the beginning, like, you feel me? Like,
exactly,
like, bro could easily be on the Pat McAfee show. You know what I mean? Like, bro could easily be a guest on the Pat McAfee show, but he's on the Fairview. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, hey, that's what I'm saying, bro. That's why I feel so good, bro. I took so much. When he said he'll never retire, like, if you waking up and got nothing to do, ain't got no drive, bro, you say you might as well die. And that makes so much sense, bro. What am I doing out here? Like, you have to like forever keep that strive and that grit to want to do better, want to learn more, want more knowledge. I feel like that's how you stay eternal. That's how you stay forever. Your drive at 66, you still waking up, getting your hour workout in, making sure you eating this right and this and that. And if you overly stressed, you know how to calm yourself down and get back to it.
And think about other working out. That's what
that's what I'm saying. Bro. I feel that guy's good. Reggie, that guy is good.
66. To be
I'm about to say he don't really,
and he can probably. That's what I'm saying. He's 66 and he's running. He's running miles.
He still understands AI integration and social media and NIL. It ain't most 66-year-old niggas is giving the game to the 20-year-old. You feel me? Because the world, but he in it with like he's still like nah, I'm 20 plus and still going. Like,
that's a real genuine dude right
40
there.
plus. I don't know how long he worked as a teacher or coach, but I'm sure he got at least 20 years CEO ownership experience, bro.
Yeah, I think that's what I said at the beginning. I think he got 21 years of intro to owner of many brands.
21 years working his way up, man.
And I forgot. That's what I'm saying. I kind of wanted to try to be smart and try to read it off my notes and not look down. I forgot the pony. I forgot the starter. I forgot the damn New Balance. I was like, fuck.
The Polo,
Ralph Lauren. That's the big one. As soon as he said, I was like, oh man, I forgot that shit. But yeah, man, shit. Look at my niggas with their babies, man. We appreciate y'all, man, for joining us for episode 2. We are in this bitch, man. I love it. I actually kind of like this style a lot, man. I really do. I really do.
I just wish y'all could see fits. Y'all know y'all missing my fits. I was putting shit on every day.
I already know you. What you
hot.
show us, nigga. Show us, nigga. What you got on, nigga?
Got a bite mark at the bottom.
Hey, look. Hey, I got the
Yeah. Hey, you know what's crazy, man?
That nigga got the
I was
Debo.
gonna wear a button up. I was gonna put a button up on. I got some sweatshirts on the sides.
I ain't got no socks on. Hey, but no, on some real notes though, viewers, your boy just bought a camera and I'm about to go get another camera after this dumbass week I had, so it'll be a while, but we'll get back to the live shit again. But we're going to keep this. We're definitely going to keep this. It's probably going to start happening multiple times a week, just because we can and it's free.
And a lot of our guests is far.
It's
so
remote.
This is the best. This is what's most convenient for them.
Yeah, and next week, actually, it might be in person next week, just with Deuce remote, just because I think our guest wants to come to us in person, so we might figure that out, get that done for y'all, man. But like I said, we enjoy y'all. I mean, we appreciate y'all coming to the show. Hopefully y'all enjoyed us, man. Look a little Brave and Arrow. Rollo's son was camoing. You know what I mean? You know who we are, man. We are eternal bonds, man, through speech, through journal. Loyalty is for life, and the bonds are eternal. Love y'all, man.
Yes, sir. Love, man. Love. Bye, Bravey.
Nah, y'all
right,
just don't know. I just end the recording.
Love, man. I'm gonna
Might be twisting us from dropping the truth first. Don't really give a fuck if you don't like it. Never flipping the script, telling it like it is. Might not see eye to eye, but the FAIRVIEW we gon' give. You don't like someone's opinion, shit, it is what it is. A podcast is a podcast, it's gon' give what it give. Money is the rush, just getting it how we live. Morals and principles is how we raising our kids. Now let's do it big, yeah, B.I.G. If you hating on us, then you can suck the T.I.P. Forever my brothers, 3 letters, F&B. Forever my brothers, 3 letters, F&B. For sure, any negative energy, then you gotta go. Adios, you can get wiped just like a snotty nose. Vominos, lay it all on the table like some dominoes. Geronimo, you know we stay shining just like a pot of gold.